Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish series stars. I hope you're all feeling inspired today, because we're diving into a topic that has stirred up whispers, comments, and a lot of emotion across our community. It's something simple on the surface yet piercingly deep once you sit with it. We're going to uncover the truth behind a single sentence that shook fans who have watched this couple for years, the ones who believed in a fairy tale and also in the hard work behind it. We're talking about Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu, and why that phrase, "I no longer dream," landed like a quiet confession that echoes in the heart. Before we go further, if you haven't subscribed yet, take a second to do it now and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Your support keeps Turkish series stars alive and motivated, and it means the world to us. Now, let's step into it. You know Barış and Elçin as the duo whose faces can light up a scene with a glance. You've watched them exchange those unspoken looks on set, felt that spark that turned scripts into sensations, and followed their careers as they navigated an industry that demands, consumes, and then asks for more. Together or apart, they've built characters that gave us butterflies and hope. On screen, they mint our fantasies. Off-screen, they wrestle with the reality most of us never see. So when the line "I no longer dream" appears in a conversation, softly, without drama, maybe after a long day, maybe in a candid moment between takes or after a late-night interview, the world stops and listens. If the people who've made a living giving shape to our dreams say they've put theirs on pause, what does that mean? Is it about routine setting in? Is it the exhaustion that shows up in the voice of someone who's given every last drop to their craft? Is it disillusionment? Or is it something quieter, wiser, a choice to live differently, to prioritize reality over fantasy, to hold on to what is steady rather than chase what flickers? To understand, we have to revisit the road that brought them here. Neither Barış nor Elçin walked in with a royal key. They fought for roles, for recognition, for a chance to be seen. They stepped into auditions under harsh lights, learned to breathe through rejection, adapted to demanding schedules, and let the work carve new shapes into their lives. With each project, they grew. With each delay, with each last-minute script change, they learned to bend and then straighten again. The climb is noble, but it's not painless. Talent is delicate. Success can catch it in a strong grip. Once your name is known by millions, the air gets thinner. Every choice is a headline, every candid moment a shareable clip, every silence an invitation for someone else's words to fill in. Imagine stepping out to buy coffee and calculating if the look on your face will start a rumor. Imagine walking onto a set where everyone is waiting for you to deliver magic, the kind so consistent that even your off days must feel like brilliance. Imagine doing that while maintaining a relationship where both of you are professionals, both ambitious, both compassionate, and both stretched thin by demands that never stop. What happens to private dreams in that kind of pressure? Not the dreams you declare in interviews, but the ones that live in the quiet, a lazy Sunday without a call sheet, a weekend trip without a camera peeking from behind a bush, an evening dinner where the only lighting is a candle, not a rig. The shift from "I want to be seen" to "I want to be safe" is not failure, it's evolution. So maybe when "I no longer dream" slips out, it's not a loss of ambition. Maybe it's a change of definition. Maybe the dream used to be about billboards and ratings and trending topics. Maybe now it's about balance, about guarding a home life like a fragile flame. Maybe it's about laughter in the kitchen and arms that know how to undo the tension in your shoulders. Maybe they've already climbed mountains they once thought were unreachable, and when you reach such heights, you either set your eyes on the next peak or you breathe and let your chest loosen as you take in the view. The difference between dreaming and living becomes clearer the more life gives and takes. When you've arrived at the place your younger self swore was the finish line, what you want might stop being another finish line. What you want might be the steadiness to stay. Because a career isn't a sprint, and love isn't a performance. And when you've finally built something that feels like yours, the hunger for elsewhere can quiet down so the gratitude for here can be heard. But the price of this industry is real. Long days on set turn into long nights memorizing lines, and the adrenaline doesn't help you sleep. Your body becomes a tool for the story, your voice becomes a tool for the brand. Travel is constant, and privacy is a rumor. You learn to answer questions without really answering them. You learn to smile on command. If you're always at high alert, always solving, always delivering, when does the velvet part of your imagination stretch its legs and wander? Burnout doesn't just steal your energy, it steals the sweetness of dreaming. The personal and professional are twins in this world. A last-minute shoot means a postponed dinner. A press tour means an anniversary celebrated in a hotel room, if at all. If your deepest wish is to build a life that feels whole, every sacrifice in the name of visibility can leave you wondering if the trade-off is too high. So yes, if I no longer dream emerges, it might be because the old dreams don't fit anymore, and the new ones ask for quiet, for boundaries, for choices that the public can't always understand. There's another layer, the decision to be real. In a field built on illusion, authenticity is a rebellion. Maybe Barış and Elçin have stepped into a season where they value what they can touch, hold, and keep over what they can chase. Maybe maturity looks like choosing depth over noise, process over clout, the few over the many. The choice to stop romanticizing what's next doesn't mean a heart has dimmed, it might mean the heart has decided it doesn't need fireworks to glow. We can't ignore the bruises either. Projects get shelved after months of hope. People you trust look away when storms arrive. Online storms gather out of thin air, and you carry accusations from strangers who will never know your voice. Disappointments accumulate like pebbles in your shoes, small but relentless, changing your gait one step at a time. If you learn to protect yourself, sometimes that protection sounds like closing a door, even if only for a while. I no longer dream can be a shield as much as a statement. And yet reinvention might be the real center of this story. Maybe one is leaning toward quieter scripts, richer characters, carefully curated projects that let the soul breathe. Maybe the other flirts with unexpected mediums, stage, independent film, music, or writing. Maybe they're both rebuilding their relationship to work so it doesn't swallow what they are away from the spotlight. Dreams are not fossils. They shift when we shift. What you wanted at 25 is not always what you want at 35, and thank goodness for that. The beautiful part is how their honesty folds back onto us. We've watched them grow, rooted for them through triumphs and missteps, argued over pairings and plotlines, and held them to a standard that sometimes even we can't explain. We've projected onto them our hope for romance and endurance. When one of them says they don't dream like before, it forces us to look inward. Which dreams are truly ours? Which ones did we inherit from the noise around us? When did we last notice a small joy and let it be enough? This isn't a scandal, it's a mirror. It's a reminder that even the people who appear to have everything navigate their own weather. It's an invitation to value reality, meals cooked together, jokes told in the dark, hands found under a table. It's permission to want happiness that doesn't need proof. Sustainable dreams are built with patience. They don't burn out, they warm. So maybe the truth behind "I no longer dream" isn't tragic at all. Maybe it's a tender declaration of acceptance, a steadying of the spine, a quiet vow to live fully where the feet already stand. Maybe it's how you keep the soul intact in a place that can eat souls for breakfast. It's not surrender but selection, choosing the dreams that fit the life, not the life that must contort to fit the dream. When Barış Arduç and Elçin Sanga give us this kind of glimpse, they aren't stepping down from a pedestal, they're stepping into the same room we inhabit. It's a human moment we don't often get from public figures, a rare truth offered without spectacle. They've shown us the ascent, the glare, the applause. Now they're showing us the other side, the value of a quiet morning, the sanity of a boundary, the bravery of doing less and meaning it more. Is there sadness in that sentence? Maybe. The grief for certain fantasies is real, letting go has a sting. But look at what grows in its place. Clarity. Gentleness. A love that isn't shouted but sustained. Work chosen with care, not fear. A partnership nurtured away from the timeline and the trend cycle. A future sketched with pencil instead of neon, erasable but intentional. And here we are, their audience, learning in real time. We still want to see them win. We want premieres and new stories and that single close-up that makes the world hold its breath. But we also want them to sleep well, to laugh hard, to eat something delicious at midnight without glancing over their shoulders. We want them to have what they've given us on screen, a love that survives the plot twist. Tell us what you think. When you hear "I no longer dream" in the context of Barış and Elçin, what do you feel first? Do you hear exhaustion or wisdom? Do you hear a break or a breakthrough? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your reflections make this community what it is. If this conversation touched you, give the video a like, and share it with someone who needs to hear that changing your dreams can be an act of courage. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Turkish Series Stars and tap the bell so you're among the first to catch our next deep dive. Thank you for being here with us, for listening with open hearts, and for letting these stories matter. Until next time, take care of your dreams, the ones you keep and the ones you gently set down.